Well, hello. Today, I'm going to attempt to give you clarity, the myriad of mirrors and changing patterns on the question, how do you know if an ENFJ likes you, from a female Enneagram 4 perspective? So ask this question to a random ENFJ and you're treading on murky waters. Let's enter the ENFJ kaleidoscope. As we enter, a better question would be, what strategies does an ENFJ use if they want to be in a relationship with you? Or how will an ENFJ treat you if they're in love? Knowing if an ENFJ likes you is elusive. Don't let the FE fool you, because there's a whole complex inner world that's in play behind the scenes. ENFJs are not fully who they represent to be. It's easier to break down how the inner mind of an ENFJ works. For starters, ENFJs tend to be chameleons or parasites. In other words, they feed off your energy, so how they treat one person can completely differ from how they treat another. So knowing if an ENFJ likes you might require 16 different answers. Another problem is they treat everyone special. The good part is if they like you, you still have a very special and unique compartment in their mind. Okay, so here's some of the tricky parts. They're super curious about everyone, and they can really like anyone. An ENFJ can be really liked by someone that they really can't stand, because the ENFJ will treat the person with the utmost respect, kindness, and even have fun with them. ENFJs read people so well, so they sometimes think other people have the same ability, so they will work extra hard to hide the fact that they don't like someone in an effort to mask what they're really feeling, because not liking the person could cause more drama than the ENFJ has time for. So they fake it until they don't have to be around the person anymore. Then disappearing acts happen. Here's another tricky thing. An ENFJ can be more comfortable flirting with someone who they know has a crush on them than with someone whom they really like. Let me break that down. ENFJs can do the opposite. If they know someone has a crush on them, they may feel way more comfortable flirting and sparring with that person, but if they really, really like you, they might feel incredibly shy and the words just won't form. All of a sudden, they don't know who they are, and they feel angry at themselves for not being able to show you. So if you really like an ENFJ and they're giving you subtle hints that they like you, don't give up on them so quickly. You might let them know directly that you're interested. They may not respond right away because they're not spontaneous. So bring it up a second time a couple days later, because then they will be expecting it and they'll have the answer formulated in their heads. If they skirt around what you're saying, then there's a good chance they're not interested. They just like chatting with you or playing with you, but they don't want anything serious. They can have a very hard time expressing themselves with someone who they have a huge crush on, at least at first. They're gonna speak metaphorically or give subtle hints. They're judgers, so they like clarity. They want you to be clear on what you want and what your intentions are. They can handle their own ambiguity better than they can handle yours, because they're used to knowing. If something's not quite right, or they can't read you right, that's bothersome. They pride themselves on understanding the human race. So when the undercurrent of the river is flowing in the opposite direction, they're abreast of it at a subconscious level that there's a problem. Does he have someone else that he's not telling me about? Does he have commitment fears? They want to use their ability to read people to their advantage, because an ENFJ doesn't want to knowingly get hurt. But their emotions are so overpowering when they're attracted to someone that they may cave and let the waves position them in the wrong direction, because they also want to explore the possibilities of being in a relationship with you, but being carried away could cost them because they're not being themselves. So when who they truly are, or the person that they really want to be, isn't showing through, they can sabotage their own chance of happiness in the relationship, and that may be because it wasn't meant to be in the first place. They want more than anything a map to follow, but there is no map. So their complex minds can create patterns that frustrate them. because every person is different in love. So they have to show up to each table and see what you have to offer. What's your pattern? What's your style? And they might try to go with that. They just want to know one thing. Do you like them? If the answer is yes, that changes everything because now they can formulate a plan on how to navigate. Without clarity, it just isn't fun. They're painfully aware that just because we like each other doesn't mean that our intentions are the same. So an ENFJ fears getting really hurt because they feel extreme shame and humiliation in that hurt because they can love really deeply. An ideal situation is being able to completely let go and share their deepest level of feelings with you. If they're not getting clarity, it confuses them. Having romantic feelings for someone can throw their introverted intuition off a bit because now their extroverted feeling is supercharged, so they're not necessarily thinking clearly. And sometimes it can take over so strongly that they give way to it. There are two lanes that they travel in when saying yes to a love interest. They either go for someone that makes them feel super comfortable, safe, protected, and at peace because they have complicated inner worlds. So someone that soothes them, calms them, doesn't make them have to question every action that they make. It feels really good to an ENFJ. The second option would be being with someone who they feel head over heels for. Either can be good for different reasons, but they prefer the head over heels option, which could be like finding a needle in a haystack. They want to be insanely head over heels, feel all the butterflies, go deeper than deep, crazy in love with someone. They want the sky to seem bluer and the trees to gleam brighter. They want colors to explode, the sun's incandescent ray to take them to new heights when it comes to love. In other words, they want to bask in euphoria. They want love. They crave it. They want romance. They need it. So they may pick the person who is a safe bet rather than a supercharged, overwhelming, I'm crazy in love with you. And they can make the relationship work because you like them so much and you grow on them and you grow together in a very loving, happy, content place. They want to be intrigued. They prefer intensity. But on their quest for love, they really do want to be intrigued. They prefer intensity. Their aim is for out of this world euphoria. They like layers, uncovering who you are. Do you have knowledge or insight about things that they don't know? They enjoy learning and growing from you. They like figuring you out in an ENFJ kind of way because connecting to your inner core makes them like you even more and grow even fonder of you. Drawing them closer or giving them things to dig deeper about with you doesn't mean playing games with them. I call you today and then I don't hear from you for a few days. Heck, no one likes that unless they're not interested in you. So if you try to bring an ENFJ in closer that way, it's a recipe for disaster. You're not going to get to fund them. You're going to be confused about who they are, and they're going to pull away. So remember, they don't deal well with confusing, unclear situations. So if you think those type of strategies will work to make them like you more, think again. Intriguing them means sharing pieces of your life story with them, or what has made you who you are today, or if there's something unique about yourself that you'd like to share. That's a way to draw them in and make them like you even more. It could be as simple as the way you move, the way you dress, the way you interact with others that fascinates them. They can be hardcore flirts. They can flirt with incredible boldness when they're in that mindset, and they're going to say some things that make you blush and read between the lines. They're going to play a few mind games, not to hurt you, but to really rev things up to intensify things and make things more fun. They might challenge you in some ways to see how you react because they're trying to create greater depth with you and understand you more. If you're not a conversationalist, that may not work so well because it doesn't give them any leverage. So if your answer to everything is yes, no, then it's probably not going to go anywhere. If they're in a relationship with you, that means they think you are incredibly special. Don't feel jealous if you perceive that they're treating other people with as much interest as they are in you. It's just not true. Their feelings will be way deeper, and they'll be so much more invested in how you feel. They will go to great lengths to make you feel special, even in the smallest ways. They want to enjoy life with you, and they'll figure out ways to let you know it and how much you mean to them. In conclusion, the best way to know if an ENFJ likes you is to start in a position of knowingness. So that just means like you know that the two of you are interested in getting to know each other rather than just some random chance. So if you have a mutual friend, if you're uncomfortable saying it, tell the friend to tell the ENFJ that you like them. ENFJs are very understanding, so that won't take away how they feel about you. In fact, they'll appreciate not having to play the guessing game and being ambiguous. It works much better if someone is fixing the ENFJ up with someone, or if they're going on a dating website where you both know up front, hey, we're interested, we're dating. It can be much harder in a workplace or an organization to get the ball rolling. It's easier if you bump into each other somewhere and you meet that way. For example, one time there was this guy, I was at a grocery store, and when I left out of the grocery store, this guy approached me and he handed me this note and he told me, hey, when you have a moment, read this. And so when I got home, I read it and it said something like, I was checking you out in the grocery store and I'm really attracted to you and I just wanted to see if I could take you out, if I could get to know you better. Here's my number. And I love that. I found it quite touching. So figure out a creative way to let them know, hey, I want to date you. I'm interested. Sometimes things can be so complicated that they can confuse you even more. So I hope you're not confused at the conclusion of this video. Developing a really solid friendship with the ENFJ can really help. And just spending time getting to know them if you're in a setting where you feel like it's kind of difficult to just be upfront, like, hey, I like you. Just develop a friendship and try to let it deepen over time. That can always work too. But at the end of the day, I think when people are meant to be together, two people, hey, there's nothing that's gonna stop that from happening. It's like magic. So don't stress about it too much. All right, well, if you'd like to see more ENFJ videos, then hit the thumbs up button and remember to subscribe. And I'll check you out on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.